Okay, so the first match of the night is Vader, Davey Boy Smith, and Owen Hart versus Ahmed Johnson, Jake Roberts, and Yokozuna. 6-man tag match, with the stipulation being that if Yokozuna's team wins, Yokozuna gets 5 minutes in the ring alone with Jim Cornette. The match goes for 13 minutes, and it ends when Vader hits the Vader bomb on Jake Roberts and gets the victory. Stephen?
My first note is babyface Yoko, crumbs. I don't know why I was thinking that. Crumbs. It was quite stark and sad to see how much his body had changed since WrestleMania 9, because he packed it on in that time. Ahmed Johnson hit a plancher over the top rope, which nearly made me spit my Wild Bean cappuccino out. Little plug for Wild Bean, who are sponsoring my appearance on this podcast this week. Jake's cover-up shirt. I mean, come on. I mean, it just didn't do it. It was, you could see his belly in it. So what's the point of it? And I just kind of thought, if you're going to wear a shirt, actually cover yourself up. This had its moments. It was fine. No better, no worse than that.
Well, I tell you what, I'll follow on a little bit with the outfits, because I tend to agree, particularly with Jake Roberts. I mean, God bless him, but he could have been, he could have been more obvious that he's trying to cover himself up. He may as well have just come out with a sign above his head with a big arrow going down, just going, yes, I am fat. Very poor choice. But the one thing that really stuck out to me as the match was starting, when they announced Vader, originally I didn't hear the announcer say that they were announcing everybody's combined weight. I thought they would just announce, as they normally do, I thought they were announcing just the single weights. And when they said Vader was about 1,030 pounds, I was like, what the hell? And it did take me a couple of minutes until they did the next set of announcements for the next team. I was like, okay, that's everybody. I was like, let's face it, we all know that they tend to exaggerate, the weights. But I was like, are you kidding? But that did tickle me a little bit. But the match itself, it wasn't too bad. For the opener, it was pretty decent. I mean, it was pretty much it was all about Vader versus Yokozuna. That's one thing that sort of got the crowd going, really. And whenever those two guys sort of did get together, the crowd were into it. So it was cool to see the big guys go at it. Yeah, like I said, there wasn't much for Jake, although he did manage to get the crowd, definitely behind the DDT. I mean, a lot has been said about him, setting up that move and getting the DDT, and people are so behind it, which was really cool. I did enjoy, I think this was a Vince McMahon line, I'd have to double check, but there was a commentary line where they did refer to Owen Hart as that pesky individual, which again is another line that did crack me up. So for the entirety of this match, I kept, whenever Owen was in, I was like, that pesky individual. So I did enjoy that. But yeah, the match itself, like I said again, it wasn't too bad. The finish was cool as well. I quite like Vader, so Vader getting the splash was good. Yoko couldn't move as much because he was rather humongous. But yeah, not too bad. Decent all-star to the show.
I quite like this. Yeah, I thought it was decent. I don't really dislike anyone in this match, but Ahmed Johnson's the only one that I would pick out for particular criticism. And actually, at the beginning of his WWF run, he was pretty exciting. I thought he was a pretty dynamic performer. He got injured, I think, middle of the year, and then just was never the same after that point. It just never worked. And I think he got a bit of an attitude about him as well, and it all kind of started to fall down. But at the beginning, he was really excited, and they were really behind him. They really kind of entered him in right near the top of the card. First pay-per-view was at Survivor Series 95, and he was in the wild card match, which was a match where heels and baby faces were drawn into two Survivor Series teams, and they were all the biggest stars other than the Bret and Diesel who were in the main event of the show. And they really did get behind him, and I thought this was a decent match. I feel disappointed that we didn't get more of Yoko as a babyface. I feel like, as I said on the WrestleMania 9 episode, I feel like they had an intention to establish him as the Andre the Giant of the time, and they kind of done it as a heel. Now they were turning him babyface to have probably the next 4 or 5 years and just make the occasional appearance as a kind of a really loved big guy. And it just didn't work because he couldn't stop putting on the pounds. In fairness, he was pressured to put on more weight in the first place to get up to make him look more impressive, but then he just carried on. And well, I mean, you can't blame him. You can't exactly stop that once you put that into motion. It's very, very difficult to stop. Yeah, it was all a bit sad in the end for old Yoko. This was obviously also them introducing Vader, and I don't think they did a great job of it in this match. Like, he still had to. I just think that WWF weren't very good at bringing in a heel and making them just unstoppable during this period. They just couldn't bring themselves to have, other than Yoko actually up until one point when he won the title, everybody else is kind of, there's almost like an apology. So obviously, first of all, here he actually has to sell for one or two of the opponents, which I don't think he needs to do in this match. I think he should just be dominant whenever he gets in the ring. But also they show the clip of him getting suspended on Raw after the Royal Rumble because he attacked Gorilla Monsoon. But during that, he has to back down from Gorilla Monsoon during that angle. And you're like, this is the first time most people will have seen him because he debuted at the Royal Rumble itself, the pay-per-view. And already you're like, oh, Gorilla Monsoon can deal with him. This guy who's retired years and years ago, better known as a commentator now to most of these fans. And he's kind of, Vader's backing down from him. It didn't really do him a great service in these initial months.